blast from the past. Remember when you laughed.
Hi everyone and welcome to Big Kids TV Podcast, the podcast where we look into the classic children's shows that shaped generations and paved the way for modern kids TV. I'm Chris, and today we're taking a trip down memory lane to visit two of the most mischievous little characters to ever live in a garden. Bill and Ben, the Flowerpot Men. For those of you who remember them, just hearing their names might bring back memories of their quirky, gibberish language and the gentle charm of their adventures. And for those of you who've never heard of them, well, get ready to learn about one of the most iconic British children's shows of all time. How did two little puppets living in flower pots become such a beloved part of British television? And why do they still hold a place in so many people's hearts? And what exactly was Flobbadob supposed to mean? Stick around and we'll find out. Like many classic British children's shows, Bill and Ben, the Flowerpot Men was born in the 1950s, during the early days of television. It premiered on the 18th of December 1952 as part of the BBC's Watch With Mother series, a set of gentle, educational programmes aimed at young children. The show was created by Frida Lindstrom and Maria Bird, the same creative duo behind Andy Pandy and the Wooden Tops. Their goal was simple: to create a fun, engaging show for preschoolers that encouraged imagination and play. Filmed in black and white and using string puppets, the show had a distinctive, slow-paced charm that was perfect for the small children it was designed for. Each episode was only about 15 minutes long, but that was more than enough time for Bill and Ben to get into a little bit of mischief. At the heart of the show were its two main characters, Bill and Ben. Bill and Ben were puppet marionettes who lived inside two flower pots at the bottom of a garden. They were brothers, identical in appearance except for slight differences in their movements and expressions. Whenever the gardener left for the day, the two little flower pot men would pop up from their pots and start exploring, playing, and occasionally causing a little bit of trouble. But perhaps the most memorable thing about Bill and Ben was their unique way of speaking. They communicated in a nonsense language called Flobbadob, a mix of gibberish sounds where Flobbadob meant flower pot, and other playful phrases were mixed in. Children somehow understood the meaning of what they were saying, even though it was pure nonsense. The third key character was Weed, a friendly little plant that sat between Bill and Ben's flower pots. Weed could only say one word, weed, but somehow that was enough to give them advice, warn them of danger, or call them back when they got too carried away. Weed acted as the motherly figure in the show, always looking out for Bill and Ben and keeping them out of serious trouble. Each episode of Bill and Ben followed a simple but engaging structure. The gardener would leave, signalling that it was time for Bill and Ben to wake up and explore. They would go on a little adventure, whether it was playing with objects around the garden, trying to fix something, or discovering something new. Weed would often warn them when trouble was coming. As soon as they heard the gardener returning, they would rush back to their flower pots, pretending that they had never moved at all. The humour of the show came from Bill and Ben's silly antics, their playful squabbles, and the way they interacted with their surroundings. So, why was Bill and Ben so popular? There were a few key reasons why Bill and Ben, the Flowerpot Men, became such a huge hit with children. Even though Bill and Ben spoke gibberish, children completely understood what they meant. Their nonsense language encouraged kids to use their imaginations and interpret the story in their own way. Young children love familiarity, and Bill and Ben followed the same comforting routine in every episode, making it predictable and safe. The idea that Bill and Ben came to life only when the gardener wasn't looking gave the show a magical, secret world feeling, similar to later films like Toy Story. Even though the puppets had limited movement, the skilled work of Audrey Utterbury and Molly Gibson, who also worked on the wooden tops, made them feel full of personality and life. Bill and Ben the Flowerpot Men originally ran from 1952 to 1957, with only 26 episodes ever made. But because the BBC repeated it for years, it remained a beloved fixture of British children's TV well into the 1970s. And that wasn't the end of Bill and Ben. In 2001, the BBC revived the show with a brand new stop-motion animated series. This new version introduced more characters, colourful settings and modern storytelling, but it kept the heart and spirit of the original. While some people felt it wasn't quite the same, it helped introduce a whole new generation to Bill and Ben. Even though the original show was simple and slow-paced, it played a huge role in shaping early children's television. Without Bill and Ben, we might not have had later classics like Bagpuss, The Clangers, or even the Teletubbies. It showed that children didn't need flashy action or complex plots. Sometimes all you need was little animation, some gentle humour, and a pair of mischievous little puppets hiding in flower pots. Even today, Bill and Ben remain a nostalgic symbol of simpler times, when kids' TV was quiet, innocent, and full of charm. And that's a wrap on today's Big Kids TV podcast. If you enjoyed this trip back in time to the wonderful world of Bill and Ben, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share the episode with your fellow TV nostalgia fans. And if you have memories of watching Bill and Ben, I'd love to hear them. Did you even try speaking Flobbadob? Did you have a favourite episode? Let me know in the comments below. Until next time, keep the nostalgia alive. And remember, Flobbadob, because now you know what that means.
Big Kids TV podcast, bringing back the blast from the past. Remember